Hi guys, welcome into our live session where we are designing them from scratch. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Right away. Starting right. Hope you guys can awesome. I see some people are joining. Say hi on the chat. You guys can say hi on the chat. And there we go. Anthony, how are you doing, Anthony? I hope you are well, Anthony. Nice to see you here, Anthony. Nice to see you, Anthony. Oh, wow, awesome. People are joining. Yeah, well and good, Anthony. Watching live. Maji. There you go. Yeah, actually, we are going to design an LLM from scratch. We are going to discuss on some few. Then we are going to make sure that everything works correctly. It's not going to be that much technical today. It's mostly the basics, environment, and actually uh, working on that LLM as we go. It's going to be a series of sessions, and I hope to see you guys all the way to the end of the series of sessions. It's not going to be one session, it's going to be a series of, yeah. Worry not. Everything is going to be cool. You can invite your friends, invite people as possible. And these guys, this one is going to be cool. It's going to be awesome. You're going to design a complete LLM from scratch. You don't have to worry if you are beginner. You're going to figure out how the fun part, how to go around it. Yeah, I can see you is this. Unfortunately, I'm unable to pronounce some of the names on the chat. The origin. Is it origin or is it origin? Bless you too, origin. Where are you watching from? Where are you watching from? Where are we watching the live from? Munene. Let's do it. Let's do it. It's easy. It's not hard. From Nigeria. Wow, awesome. I hope you enjoy. I hope you enjoy the session. Okay, let's get into it straight away. Let's get into the designing. Let's go on to whatever we are going to cover. On this one is going to be easy. This one is going to be easy. Too easy, guys. This one is going to be easy. Thank you, Anthony. Yeah, you can see. I need to mute some devices. Let's go. And there we go. Almost. All right, we are there. We are there. Where is it? So basically, we are going to follow a documentation that we have designed. And you can get the documentation of the just immediately after the live, we are going to get the description. Um, the description. It's really easy, not that hard. Actually, it's very simple. We are going to design a 10 million parameter GPT, and we are going to understand what is 10 million parameters and what do we mean by parameters. That's what discuss. Worry not. It's not that hard. It is easy as ABCD. Worry not. It's going to be easy. So just to go quickly through whatever we need to maybe have in case you're wondering, you need hardware. You don't need very big hardware to do this. It's very easy. Basically, we need a 10 million parameter model. It's in a laptop. I think laptop. We need a layer transformer, basically six transformer blocks. It's not going to be very heavy. It's going to have 200 tokens. We are going to describe all these terms, sorry, not. We are going to be things like a model with 5K to 10K, 5K to 10K tokens. This is the context and also the vocabulary. You're going to get the training data. The training data actually to get these parameters, you don't need much data. You only need 1 to 50 MB of text, megabytes of text. The normal MB that you download your video with, 50 MB of text. That is pure text. You are going to be to determine what you need. How much time do you need to train a 10 million parameter model? Very simple. Very simple. We only need what 30 to 4 hours. 30 minutes to 4 hours, depending with your machine, basically. If you have a powerful machine, less than this. Actually, laptop with 4 GB, 8 GB of RAM, and the basics you can. We are going to be using the CPU, not actually the memory, not actually most of the space. You can see this MB is very small, very small. Uh, Megabytes, small amount of megabytes that is needed to train these models. It's not that big. It's not model. It's not going to be a big model. Let me pull some documentations here. So what we need, we are going very easy, and we are going to use a few libraries. We need PyTorch, of course, and we are going to discover how we use PyTorch. We can use these PyTorch, and I hope you guys really that. 10 million parameter. Where are we getting the data? Maybe you have been asking yourself, how do these ChatGPT come up with this AI model? Where do they get where do they get the data? Where do they get the information from? Very easy. For example, when you go to any article, for example, this is an article. This thing is an article. It has a procedure from A to Z. Step one to step Z. So this is data to train AI model. This is source. You combine it with Shakespeare's books. You combine it with blogs, blog content. You see that blog content that you are reading. That's a good source of data that you can use to train your AI model. Now let's combine that with a lot of text, with a lot of resources, or with a lot of resources to do it. Then that means we can come up with a complete working model, a great model that we come up with. Yeah, basically, um, that's what we are going to be training most of the time. But Anthony, am I really breaking? Worry not, worry not. Let me change my internet configuration. I think I must be good now. There we go. Now we are okay. And the illustration was not clear. Upload some few documents. Sure. Let's do this. Let's do this. It's very easy. Let's do this. Let's do this. We are going to start. Mm, yeah, good. Anyway, are we ready for this session? Are we ready? Okay, let me pull extra resources. I need a backup internet, and I already have it. Because unfortunately, I'm having a terrible internet. Yeah, this is not an hard job. It's very easy job. Very easy job. Let me switch my. There we go. Let's do this. Very easy. Some easy job. The illustrations must be clear now. I believe so. Yeah, right now. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Let me just take you through exactly what we need. You don't need so much. You don't need so much. A few things. We need to set up our environment. Of course, we are going to be using Python. The directories right here. We have different sources here. We're going to be figuring out how are we going to do this. We need to install some few requirements, and actually we don't need so much. We only need a few things. Happy to go to right on it. Let's see what we need to do. We need to set up some few environments. Of course, we need to install some few dependencies. In case you've never heard about something like PyTorch, we are going to be needing PyTorch. We need NumPy. We to tokenize our APIs. We need Matplotlib. We need building. We need to install request because you're going to make requests later while we're working on the user interface for our model. And we need actually to make sure that we do something we call device detection, where you're going to make sure that our AI model utilizes 100% of the space of our memory that we are going to allocate to it. So basically means if we are optimizing this for CPUs, for GPUs, that means we are going to optimize our model depending on the platform that, of course, in case you're going to get the training data from. We have the data sources that we are going to get the data sources from. And basically, we are going to get it from books, Shakespeare, you're going to take it from Wikipedia, you're going to open web text. Of course, we have open sources where you can get data, and you can do your own writing in case you have PDFs, blogs, whatever platform that you can get the data from. We are going to do project Gutenberg for books in case you want any books. In case you want any books, you're going to get the books right here. And actually, you're going to see how do we download data from and embed it straight into our LLM or into our training data. Of course, you know a lot of data is very dirty. We need to clean our data, of course. We need to do data cleaning. After data cleaning, we need to do data loading, of course. Yeah, that's easy. We're going to do the transformer model. In case we don't know how to do transformer models, we need to do that. That's actually our fourth step that we are going to be in. And actually, we need to do feedback network. How do we create a feedback network? How do we notice a feedback? We are going to do that. Transformer blocks. Of course, we talked about transformer blocks, and then we are going to deploy our one. You're going to train it for 30 to 40 minutes, not actually today, but it's a series of lessons that we are going to train. Then you are going to get feedback from AI. And actually, you are going to see how do we deploy this AI model from scratch. Then how do we tweak it? How do we change the AI model not to start working as business-oriented AI model? How do we train models that are specifically purely for medicine, purely for mathematics, purely for finance, economics, and also for education purposes? All these are the things that we need. And our file structure is going to be the D. This is our file structure. We need to download the data and some few things right here. So let's get into it. Let's just set up the environment quick fast. Let's just get setting environment. How do we set the environment? Basically, I'm using Windows. I'm using Windows for this case. Then I'm going to make make directory YT. Then I'm going to change to LLM. Oh, LLM. Then after I do that, now I can make another directory that is very simple that we are going now to store our model, but that's not necessary. So let's create some few environments right here. So what do we need to do in Python? So we need to create a virtual environment that we are going to use to we are basically going to create a virtual environment for that case. To create a virtual environment uh, for that case in a few moments. There we go. We can navigate to scripts, navigate to scripts slash activate. There we go. We have our virtual environment activated for us right here to use. We have a virtual environment. Basically, this is a command for Windows, but in case someone is using Linux or MacBook, you can use certain keyword here. In case depends with uh, the tool that you are basically creating. But before that, what tool am I using? What tool am I using? I'm going to use my cursor. I'm going to be using cursor. Use cursor AI. Can you see code editor of your choice? Let me just do that. Let me do that. Open that code editor of your choice. Sometimes cursor is heavy as compared to VS Code, but it's fine. Let me just open the folder. There you go. Anyway, we can just open our virtual environment right here. Instead of opening it in virtual then we can create some few files right here. There we go. So we need to create some few files. What files do we need to create? Very simple. We need to create a requirements.txt file. Requirements.txt. And here is where we are going to add in all the requirement files. Say requirements. So in this requirements.txt file, we need things like we need PyTorch 2.0, we need to PyTorch Py, need NumPy. After NumPy, we need matplotlib, of course. All these libraries right here. And we need this tick token. So basically, these are the only requirements that we need for now. We need PyTorch, we need NumPy, we need matplotlib, TQDM, we need requests, then we need this tick token. We also need this token. Now, after this, now we are going to install all these requirements. Remember that we are already at the requirements.txt file, txt file that we have here. So because we have created this, now we want to make sure that we import all the required details, or we install the modules right. Just open a new terminal. There we go. Now it's downloading all the requirements. Remember that my virtual environment is right here. It's activated. Because it's activated, I need to make sure that my virtual environment is activated so that it now creates all these requirements inside that virtual environment. So as it creates, let's make sure that we create some extra files right here. According to our file structure, we need several things. According to our file structure, where is our file structure? We need several things. We need the models. We need the configuration.py, the training.py, the generate.py, the text requirements.txt, in which we already have it here. So let's model. Then we need config.py, training.py. Config. I'm going to explain all this file. Train.py, generate.py, then we need generate.py. Basically, these are the only files that we need at the moment. Still installing all our requirements right here. So let's give it some time to install all our requirements. So before we continue, let's see what else do we need. Do we need the data? We need everything. We have anything that we need. Now we can start working on models. Let's describe what the model needs to do. We need a model like GPT. We are designing it from ground up. What is it going to do? We are going to prompt it, then it's going to use our own data, or it's going to reference from our own data and give us an output. For example, when you go to GPT, you just ask it any question, then it gives you an answer, right? So how does it give you an answer? That's what we want to decide. Is it fetched from our own database, or where does it get the data from? So let's see how it gets the data. So this is what happens mostly when it comes to when it comes to generating. So feed AI with data. So that is data. For example, we have hello world. Then it calls or encodes that data from age. Then it predicts. How does it predict? The next one. Then how does it predict from H to He to L to L, then O? After predicting that, how does it construct full sentence now? But that is based on the data that you have trained it with, or with the context that you have trained it. So let's do this. Let's start working on the most important file as for now. For now, we need to configure the config.py, the configuration.py. What is this configuration.py? Remember that, remember that we say we need to be aware of the hardware that we are using. Because we're not using GPU, or memory, or that bigger kind of memory. We're only using our laptop. So we need to be specific. We need to be specific on what we are using. In case we are using very large servers or large GPUs or CPUs, then that means we can go ahead and design models to work in a different way. So basically, these models, as you can see, from the stories that you have heard, AI uses GPUs, then that is correct. You need to be considerate of the hardware that you are using when it comes to training our requirements. You can give it some more time to install our requirements. So in our here we need to import torch that we are going to be using. That is torch is PyTorch. Nothing new, nothing crazy. Torch is basically PyTorch. Torch is basically PyTorch. Nothing crazy right